Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Growin Up. I know, boys, we hit number uno, dos, diez.
We're officially out of Mike's age bracket for women.
Damn it.
Heyo!
It is a sad day for all.
Leonardo DiMicchio.
Well, gentlemen, today we are not talking games. We are talking pop culture and entertainment, although Brandon already blew his Lizzo load last time. So
And that is a big load. That's a big load.
Eric. Wait, rewind. Brandon, you started off us last time with Yakuza. So, Eric, that means you get to start us off this time.
I haven't really been doing too much as far. I've just been busy. My video game time has dwindled since Dragon's Dogma. I've really only been playing that, and TV has been. Yeah, when I don't have a Leaf game, I'm trying to grab something, but there hasn't been too much. You know, we did Avatar and True Detective, and we just started a show on Netflix, I think, called The Gentleman, which seems like it'll be
Guy
pretty
Ritchie.
fun.
It's awesome, man. Guy
Yeah,
Ritchie.
yeah. Have
I've
you
watched
watched
that
it
too.
all?
Yeah. Oh, not all of
Okay.
it. No, I'm on episode
Okay.
3.
Okay, we just finished episode 1, and I'm pretty excited to get through this. It looks a lot of fun.
Nice.
It's like such a typical Guy Ritchie movie in the best way possible.
Wait,
Okay,
is it a
okay,
movie
like
or
to hear
TV
that.
show?
TV show.
TV show, like limited
Nice.
series or something, like
Yep.
8 episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a proper hour long each.
Very
Exactly.
But so far, definitely worth the watch. But other than that, no, that's it for me. Mikey,
Boy, you
anything
got
new?
a quick catch up this week.
Oh, there's been nothing. I've been busy. You know, I tore my rotator cuff.
I know.
Oh, buddy.
How
And,
are you feeling, sir?
Oh, I'm getting there. I just want to recover before I go on vacation, but it's been rough. It's been
Yeah.
rough.
Brutal.
And just in time for my birthday too. So it was a busy, painful week.
Oh yes, absolutely. We also wish you a Guggernaut happy birthday, good sir.
Yes.
Ah,
A
thank you,
happy
thank
belated
you.
birthday, you old bastard.
I know.
Appreciate it.
Get wrecked. I only have water, so I will tap you twice.
But I should be
But
drinking at my age.
I know it's okay. We're gonna be in Mexico in 2 weeks, so it.
Oh,
I'll get you.
buddy.
I'll get you back when we go there.
Tequila shots.
Oh, all day, every day, sir. All right. So on my side, I'm going to start, boys, with a movie that I truly believe everyone should go see. I saw Dune 2, gentlemen.
Oh.
And
Okay.
it was absolutely excellent. Like, very, very, very freaking good. So I saw it in IMAX, and it actually has been. It's been a very long time since I've seen a movie in IMAX. I was actually trying to think about it, and I could not actually remember what the last IMAX movie I saw was. So either way, it's been that long. So I saw it on IMAX, and I would 1,000% recommend going to check it out. I'm sure it's fantastic in Ultra AVX and like your standard ones there, but this movie definitely warrants a IMAX experience.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time since we've had a movie that really does need IMAX.
Yeah, and like
Last
I
one I
know,
can think of was Avatar 2.
yeah, Avatar 2 was
Jeez.
it's so
And
good.
in all seriousness, yeah, like Avatar 2 is the last one I could think of. That was just like a huge IMAX level experience.
Yeah, and I know, so I went to go see it with friend of the show, Mr. Andrian, and when we were walking over, again, we were talking about IMAX and kind of exactly that, right? The movies that, like, okay, if you didn't see it in IMAX, would it really impact it? And we were talking about Oppenheimer, because, again, I really enjoyed Oppenheimer, but I'm sure I would have gained a lot from it being in IMAX, but I also really enjoyed it watching it at home, right? Where I feel like with Dune, it's just like, not to say, oh, if you don't see it in IMAX, like you're not going to like love it, but it's just so warranted to see it from like the visuals and especially the audio standpoint. Just like very, very cool. I know the first, like, have you both seen the first Dune?
Mm-hmm.
I slept through it.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to rewatch.
No,
I definitely have to
Oh,
rewatch it.
I don't
get it. It was a
blame
slow
you.
paced first movie.
Absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
like, but really, like this second one is such a twist and change of the style of movie. Like the first movie is very kind of like Game of Thronesy, a little slow.
Sets the
You're getting
tone.
introduced to the different like the different parties, the different characters, the whole thing, right?
Right.
But what I actually like now, especially now seeing the second movie, where it's not just like, okay, we're making the introduction to the first one and now the second one, like we're going to still explore everything, but like at a much grander level. Like this one just seemed much more honed in. And honestly, like the style of movie is just way more fun, way more action. The story, I don't know, just everything about it was just not what I was expecting. I did not
Cool.
watch.
Okay.
I didn't really watch any trailers. I did not watch any reviews. I saw that it got solid reviews, so I was like, all right, good enough for me. And again, I would go in blind. I wouldn't try and spoil it. I also haven't read the Dune books, so
Right.
either way,
Or seen the original movie.
Yeah.
or seen the original movie, yeah. That's it for me, guys. I really truly thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would give Dune 2 a solid like 8.5 to 9 out of 10 easy.
And, okay, and
Nice.
what would you give the first one?
7.5.
Okay.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
So that warrants a rewatch before I jump into Dune 2.
Yeah, definitely. Like I started rewatching the first one again, but then it's a long movie, so then we ended up just watching kind of like a quick catch up, like a recap, your standard YouTube ones. But honestly, I think I might get on board and download the audiobook as well and kind of dive into the true
That's
Dune.
a cool idea.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
A.
definitely worth a sell on that for me.
Now, is Dune 2 the second of a trilogy, or are they not doing a trilogy of this?
No, so it's definitely a trilogy, and I
Okay.
actually believe how many? Sorry, so there are 3 Dune books, but I also believe there's more Dune world out there after that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it goes up to like, oh here, Dune books in order, how to read all 26 novels. But I think like,
26.
yeah, but I think like the
Brandon's
core,
fucking wet dream.
the
26.
the
That's
core
too
of
many
Dune
books. I've
has-
done that before on series, and 26 is so many. It's too
No,
many.
I believe the core Dune series is 6 at most, 3 to like the original trilogy. It's basically Star Wars, but better.
Okay.
I would also say it's much better than any Star Wars movies I've seen. So I'll also leave it at that.
Whoa.
Blasphemy.
Okay, blasphemy. The original trilogy, for what the
Uh,
time it came out. Oh my
The
god! Like,
Phantom Menace, pod racing, Jar Jar Binks. Come
Yo,
on.
First
Yes.
off, Jar Jar Binks is the only thing missing from Dune 2 to make it a true masterpiece.
just watch the original Dune compared to the original Star Wars, and then be like, all right, this is what the new Star Wars movies should have been like by a jump.
But Disney.
yeah, but Disney happened.
R.I.P. So either way, I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you're looking for a great date night out, if you want to go check out a cool movie, go to the theaters. Go check this one out in IMAX. Definitely worth the price of admission, worth the price of popcorn.
Cool.
Fucking A.
And Brandino, what you got from me, brother?
So the first thing on my list for movies, actually, randomly, I came across the remake of Roadhouse on Prime.
Nice.
Oh.
Didn't even know it came out. Didn't know any, like, I knew it was, I'd heard, I think that was in works, but I didn't know anything about it. And so we threw it on. And it's funny because I watched it, me and Rachel watched it together. We both thought it was cheesy as hell,
Yeah.
but such a fun, just enjoyable popcorn flick.
Okay.
Jake Gyllenhaal is just Jake Gyllenhaal. He's just kind of a lovable, absolute badass but will also kill you with kindness type of guy. So they caught that nice dry humor. Conor McGregor
And
is
there's
an
Conor
absolute
McGregor.
train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an absolute train wreck on screen. Like he tries to do an accent, and at first it sounds like he's trying to be American, and then next one he's trying to do like a hyper Irish one, and then he just ends up sounding like a leprechaun, like for the whole movie. And it's just, but even that, I thought it was funny because he didn't do a bad job, but he was just so over animated and awful that it was funny. But his fighting, obviously, is just outrageous. Which the fight scenes between these two guys is just so good.
Yeah,
The fights are
that's what
amazing.
you're going in for, right? You're not
Yeah.
going in for Conor
Right.
McGregor's award-winning performance.
No, and they managed to add a lot more story and a lot more characters and stuff, a lot more charm to it. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Then I went to work the next day and it came up at work with two other people who watched it and they thought it was garbage, like absolute garbage. And I'm just like, I beg to differ. I thought it wasn't trying to be anything it wasn't. It's not a good movie. It's not going for an Oscar. It's a cheesy, entertaining popcorn flick. And that's what I got. I was very pleased with that.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's on Prime.
Does it stand up to the Swayze one?
They're very different movies. Like this one
Okay.
has a little bit more to it.
Okay.
And the fighting is outrageously better. Like back in the day, they couldn't choreograph a fight to save their life by modern day standards, right? So the fighting is just so good in this.
Nice.
And I don't know, the old one's a classic. It's a classic for a reason. This is a fun movie that they didn't need to call it Roadhouse and make it a remake. They could have just released this as its own entity and not tied onto the name. You know,
Right.
they didn't need to make it a Roadhouse to give it the extra clout. They could have just released it, but because it is Roadhouse, quote unquote, it does draw more attention, and I get why they did it.
Classic.
But-
Got the audience. The director of this movie, Mr. Doug Liman, Liman. He's got actually a pretty solid cinematic history. He did Edge of
the
Tomorrow,
Michael Bay kind of situation.
kind of. Yeah. So he actually did all the Bourne. He did the Bourne movies.
Oh, okay.
So
no kidding.
So he did the Bourne movies. He did Edge of Tomorrow. He also did American Made with Tom Cruise, where he's the plane driver, the pilot for the drug smuggler. Fantastic movie for anyone who has not seen it. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then he also did the absolute classic Jumper.
Need Jumper.
Oh, horrible movie. But either way, he has a pretty solid director there, and I know he actually got fucked over a little bit with this movie because it's an Amazon Prime movie, and when he first signed on to direct it, he was actually promised that this movie was going to see a theatrical debut or theater release, the whole thing, and then Amazon basically flipped the Uno reverse card and said LOL JK and released it direct to streaming services. And I know he was very, very upset about it, and very rightfully so. I don't think I would you know what I mean? That's a big that's a big fucking reverse Uno card, especially for, and Brandon, well, correct me, would you have enjoyed that movie in the theaters?
1,000%.
Yeah,
this movie is the perfect. All right, I want to go see a movie today, but I'm not in a serious mood. Okay, let's go Roadhouse. Let's get some popcorn, sneak some beers into the theater, and let's go.
Yeah.
So Jeff Bezos is just doing his part to get us out of reality and keep us on our couches in our houses.
Yeah. Which oddly
you want to go
enough,
see a fun, brainless movie in theaters? No, do it at home.
Yeah. Which oddly enough reminds me that I pre-ordered an audiobook today of 1984. It's getting a audible release with a full theatrical cast, including Tom Hardy as one of the voice actors.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, nice.
So it's actually real actors doing some names you'll recognize, faces you'll recognize, but you'll recognize their voices because it's an audiobook of 1984.
That's very cool, Brandon.
Well, Tom Hardy can put on a lot of voices. I don't think you'll catch him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brendan, speaking of books, did you ever finish the first Mistborn? Give me an update.
I have about 3 hours left in the book.
Thoughts?
Okay.
And I have to say, as a person that has read paperback fantasy novels for decades, I was a little skeptical at first when Mikey recommended it. I started it, and it was a little bit of a shaky start, but I got there. I have to say it's pretty fucking amazing.
Let's fucking go, baby.
Nice.
Let's go. Brandon, it only gets better.
So I have to say, it was actually interesting. With the first couple hours, I'm listening to this. I'm like, this is an exact fucking ripoff of The Lies of Locke Lamora. The exact same fucking story. And then I'm like, after another chapter or so, I'm like, okay, someone's getting sued. Let me look this up. And it turns out the two books came out the exact same year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So they just both got inspired by something that was heisty. And then they went in completely wildly different directions.
Yeah.
So definitely not. Definitely has that flavor of Lies of Locke Lamora, if for anyone that's read that, with the whole thieving crew
You
and
probably 5 other people.
Yes, it's actually a critically acclaimed novel and is number one bestseller of the New York Times at one point. It's an amazing
Damn.
book series. Um, but
Also,
either way,
sorry, Brandon, I figured we should probably give a quick rewind here. We are talking about Mistborn, the Final
yeah,
Empire, which is the first of a trilogy. But it's actually there's 6 books, but the second trilogy it takes place in a different era and the whole thing there. So
yeah, and it's
absolutely fantastic. Brandon, give a synopsis of the Mistborn Final Empire.
all right. Well, I'll definitely do that, and also I'm just going to casually nod that it did get the rights sold for theatrical release. It's going to be turned into a TV show or movie.
I'm so excited.
Oh,
I'm not sure
cool.
which, but my money's on TV show.
Yeah.
But essentially, Mistborn is set in a universe where there are special groups of people called Mistings or Mistborn. Uh, Essentially, what that means is that there's certain sects of people that can actually burn different metals inside their body for different supernatural effects. So, like burning pewter in your body, for example, will give you super strength, make you physically heal faster, take more damage, all kinds of stuff. Uh, you can get things like, I don't know, all kinds of different ones.
Copper and iron, so you can push and pull. Each of the
Oh yeah,
elements,
here you
each
go.
of the elements has a matching kind of like duality secondary element. So again, there's kind of a yin to all the yangs.
Exactly.
Cool.
And there's some special like next level metals too that get, open up the story a little bit later on in the book
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
But essentially, a misting is a person that can burn one specific type of metal, but a misborn can actually access all metals. So they are basically
The
gods
The
avatar.
amongst
Avatar.
gods.
The
Yeah,
avatar, exactly.
exactly. They are the avatar. Uh, but it's also set in a civilization where the super elites have super jacked up their elite status and basically have created all workers and all like basically lower born people. They've labeled them ska and they're basically slaves in varying degrees
Yeah.
that kind of fuel the society.
Like that's what
Also
we
going back to
should do with
1984.
Scott, to be honest.
Well, and it doesn't help like they're not given education. They're like people basically see them as dogs essentially. Like they don't
Yeah.
think they can actually integrate into human culture because they don't see them as being smart enough or good enough, and that's kind of what they're taught. So a lot of people don't even feel bad because they don't actually see them as humans, and it's a whole kind of classist system. But then to keep the bloodlines pure, a lot of highborns they keep the mistings and mistborn bloodlines pure by keeping it in the higher houses. But every now and then, sometimes that ska
Once,
girl, that
You
dress
get a
just hits just
Scott
right.
Mistborn.
once
Oh
the
yeah,
fire.
and well, man, it's just that one day you're just working on your slaving camp, and you see one walk by, and it's got to hit it.
All
So
right. So either way,
yeah,
so
so
follow
every
the
now and
story
then.
of Vin.
But that's the thing. So every now and then you get some ska mistborn or mistings, and that is because somebody has been fucking with the help, quite literally. So that's kind of the story.
You're so
Vin.
fucking racist, Brandon.
Hey, I didn't write this book. But so that's the story. Vin is the main character. She is a lovely little girl that is grown up in a very fucking tough society and has just had a tough life. I won't give anything away. And eventually she hits her cracking point and she develops her Mistborn powers and then gets driven into this world of rebellions and subterfuge and all that stuff. And she really just kind of comes out of her shell and has to do some cool shit.
Yeah, and they're trying to take down basically the god. Like they're trying to take down God in order to like restore and give the ska people, let them rise again. So it's like a big heist rebellion kind of story thread. It's very awesome. Brandon, I'm very excited for you to finish this first book because your jaw will be on the floor.
I have to say,
Yeah.
it has done a really good job of addressing that. Like Mike's saying, the Lord Ruler is God, essentially. He is seen as God on Earth, and they have mythicized that he cracked the code on basically Mistborn status and managed to transcend himself into godhood. People claim to have seen him get burned alive and his skin melt down to his bones, and then him stand up as a skeleton and regrow every organ and everything, and just they've labeled him as unkillable and immortal, and he's been alive for hundreds of years and shit. So they literally see him as a god, and that's what keeps all stability of this universe. That in his I don't want to say anything. I don't want to give anything away about the story. There's
Eric,
other stuff that's
question.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. How many of these Mistborn books have you read?
So I finished the first trilogy.
Okay,
And that's like that is
do they go
a
chronologically?
yes, they all
Or
take place
so
one
they-
after another.
Okay, so they're not telling different stories.
No.
per se.
It's
all
one.
following.
It's
Okay.
one. It's one giant through line that like really opens up. Like
Okay.
really, really opens up. So the first trilogy that I like, the one that I finished, basically has a completed beginning, middle, and end, if you will. But
Right, okay.
then it just like, yeah, I don't want to say a lot because I know Brandon's really deep into it, but it really kind of curveballs its way into a lot of unthought territories.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
Cool.
yeah, and honestly, I know I've spoken about it before, and Eric, like if you are interested at all, check it out. Like it
Okay.
is the first book is a little bit of a slow burn, don't get me wrong, and they are long books. Like I listen at a 1.3 I think speed, and it's like it goes from 24 hours down to like an 18-hour book. So like they're not,
Damn.
yeah, they're pretty thick and pretty juicy, but realistically, like when I got to like that third book, there was nothing else I listened to because like I just needed to know. Like it's just like I went into some pretty deep, like long running listening sessions on it just because it was like so freaking good.
Okay.
Yeah, it is an excellent book. And I have to say, it does hold up to a lot of the greats that I have read too. Like The Name of the Wind and The Warded Man and stuff like that. It's like those titles alone are infamous. And it
Does
does
it
actually do it runs with the wolves quite well, you know?
Yeah.
does it hold up to like a Lord of the Rings type trilogy?
Uh Lord of the Rings is a little different though, right? Like Lord of the Rings falls in with that Game of Thrones style type of book where it is an anthology of
Mhm.
history and lore and backstory that's never comes up in the movies. It is it's on a different level. And I've
Okay.
read few books that go to that depth.
Okay.
And yeah, so I would say it's not really comparable.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check it out, everybody. So yeah, sorry. No, we went on a bit of a quick book detour on that one. But Brandon, what else you been watching?
So keeping on brand with fantasy, a movie that Rachel actually picked, and she's like, "Will you watch this with me?" And it's a Netflix movie, and she's like, "All right, what is it?" And I watch a trailer, Damsel.
How was it? We've been putting it off because it
Yeah.
doesn't seem good enough.
Well, so for those that don't know, Damsel is essentially John Wick for females.
Indeed.
But
Oh, okay.
instead of her going on a murder spree with guns, it's her with a dragon.
Cool.
So it's like a action movie
Losing
for
me.
like more centered to like I guess from a female angle because the main character is Elle from Stranger Things.
Okay.
Uh, and as much as I thought it was going to be like an absolute murder free like spree John Wick style movie, it is an action movie. It is kind of that in that realm, but it's not like doesn't pan out the way I kind of expected it would in that
Okay.
regard. Uh, but in the end, it is a story of kind of a lowborn girl, lowborn like plain or like a township, and she gets pulled up to the big leagues. She gets picked to be the princess of the highest family in the whole kingdom, and she's basically going
So
from
she goes from Ska to Mistborn.
essentially
Okay.
like she grossly over jumps her station in that time, and sure enough, you can tell from the trailer where it's going. It's a trap. And secretly, this highborn family is ritualistically sacrificing princesses to a dragon for one reason or another. And this is all of this is seen in the trailer for the movie, so it's not really a big spoiler by any means. And it is the story of this girl's anger from the betrayal of basically being told you're the prettiest princess in the world and your whole life's going to get changed and it's magical day, everything. that certain type of girls would dream for, becoming an ultimate princess, and then bam, getting fed to a fucking dragon. And it's
Okay.
cool. It's a good story, or it's like a good premise, and it's mildly entertaining. It's on Netflix,
Okay.
so it's there. I've watched it.
Nice.
Well, looking at the trailer now, like I feel like I would be watching this. I'd be like, hey, you know what, Ellen? Yeah, let's watch Damsel, and I think I would enjoy it more.
Yeah, it's
It
not
looks
bad.
like it could be pretty fun.
Like it's not going up for an Oscar or anything like that. It's not the best movie I've seen this year, but it's okay, and I probably wouldn't watch it again, but it's okay.
Worth a watch though.
The dragon was cool. I will give them that. The graphics and the design of the dragon was pretty awesome.
Out of 10 dog soldiers, what would you rate it?
I'd give it a 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Currently sitting at a 56% tomato meter, a 61% audience score.
Yeah.
So,
So
Brandon, spot on.
pretty right on the money.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Yeah, man.
Nice.
But how about you guys got anything else on the queue?
I got 2 things, gentlemen. 2 more things, quick time. So the first one, I also watched Poor Things. So very different from Dune.
Oh, okay. That's another one that's on our watch.
Speaking
list.
of Rex, look at this.
I actually, Eric, I actually think that you guys would like this movie. It's very, very unique. It's very interesting. Brendan, have you seen it or have you seen any of the trailers for it?
No. The only bit of it I have seen is the part we talked about.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to go there. So basically, the premise of it is actually pretty unique and interesting. So here, let me give a quick rewind here. So our boy Willem Dafoe, he's basically like a Frankenstein type character, and he brings Emma Stone back to life. And so she is a child's mind in a adult's body, and it's her trying to like understand and comprehend the world. But the world is a very out there, very artistic, very like strange. Like even when you can see on the video, like the background's not just like blurred out; it's like warped, blurred out. Like everything is very cool, very unique, very colorful. The story, I guess, at its heart, is a love story. Lots of sex, lots of nudity. Definitely not one to like get stuck watching with your parents. That's for damn sure.
Did you say she's got the mind of a child?
Yeah, which opens up a lot of weird moral questions, Brandon.
Yes.
So many.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So again, it's definitely a very hard R movie, but I enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it, but I don't think I would recommend it to everyone. I think if you enjoy more artistic style of movies a little bit, I wouldn't even call it a slow burn, but definitely just one that isn't like your traditional popcorn action flick, right? Like it's got a little bit of everything. It's definitely funny. It's the solid sense of humor. Mark Ruffalo is like fantastic in it. Willem Dafoe, fantastic. Emma Stone, amazing. So like the cast kind of all around. I don't think there was actually one weak member. All of them very good. Definitely very, very cool on that. It's sitting right now at a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 79% audience score. I would meet halfway and give it an 8.5.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
I
think the only thing that's been putting us off watching it is that we know it's going to be an odd movie. And we've been more in the mood for like something humorous, something easier to watch.
Definitely a mood type movie again, you have to kind of be ready to accept what you're like about to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's good. But the only other thing that I have, gentlemen, not just one movie, but 2. Actually, there's a third. There's actually 4, but we're only on 3. We just rewatched Alvin and the Chipmunks, boys. as well. So we watched the fantastic 2007 Alvin and the Chipmunks, and then after that, Brandon, the 2009 Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel.
Oh my
God!
Ass your squeaking mouth.
And next you have what? Chipwrecked?
Yes, Chipwrecked is the third one. It's great, guys.
I don't know why I remember that name.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's literally Alvin and the Chipmunks. 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, 64% audience score. Honestly, I would
both are too high.
No, I would give him a solid 7 out of 10. Chicken nuggets with plum sauce.
That's those acorns.
Wow. Right? Mike's getting high off the acorns.
Oh my god.
Never get high on your own acorn supply. So yeah, that's it for me, gentlemen. That's it for me. Alvin the Chipmonks. That's where I'm going out this week.
Oh, buddy. Eric, you got anything else in the chamber?
No, nothing. It's been
All
it's
right.
been a slow couple weeks for me.
Then I will save
Brando,
my
take
best
us
for
home.
last. All right, man. So I have to say, this one actually was a new discovery. I was on the treadmill and I was just bored. I was just walking. I wasn't doing anything serious, so I just wanted to watch something while I did a little bit of cardio. So I was just flipping through the channels, went through Prime, and stumbled on a show on Amazon Prime called Wolf Like Me. And I recognized the name, but I knew nothing about the show. I've heard people talk about it. I don't know where I heard about it, but I needed to try it. So I look it up. Critically reviewed at like 79%. Viewers though have it at 92%. And it's starring Isla Fisher, which is Super Spice. Most will remember her in our demographic from the Crazy Sister in Wedding Crashers, and she is a national treasure. Beautiful. And then you also have Josh Gad, who everybody knows as Olaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think the two of them were in Strays together as well.
Okay.
The Will Ferrell dog movie.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
They have amazing chemistry in this show. So I totally get why they would choose to work together. But I didn't know what I was in for, but it is actually a bit of a dark drama, but also a dark comedy in its own way. But the real kicker here is essentially these two meet through like complete freak of nature chances, right? If you're watching the trailer with us, you see that there's a car crash. Essentially, they get into a car crash together, and that is what starts their relationship of knowing each other. Olaf, as he is known to me, is a single dad, and she is a single woman. So that aligns there. But anyone that knows these two might ask,
Brandon, hold up. This is 2024. That doesn't necessarily align.
Keep going, Brandon.
My word.
Well, even if we're speaking about things that aren't believable, when we're looking at these two, he is hitting way above his weight class.
Oh, yeah,
and he is a
1,000%.
hefty gentleman. But he just drips charm. And the reason why it works is that she has a secret. Hence the title, Wolf Like Me. She is a fucking werewolf.
Of course you stumbled onto a werewolf show.
Yep. So she is a werewolf, and she is living with this secret in modern day society.
Okay.
And so she is super fucking weird, super sketchy when they're starting to hit it off. But she's also so starved for human contact, and they have so many things in common, and there's so many weird signs that she's kind of like, this might just be right. And they have some insanely human moments. Like, I'll use his actual name for this, Josh Gad. Performance is just outrageously good. The acting on this man, I felt his pain. Like when he's telling his story and you're getting a bit of his backstory, I'm like, I believe it. Like he is telling me his story. Like it's amazing acting. He absolutely owns the screen. And then on the same flip side, she's a fucking werewolf. And like she's like murdering sick goats and chickens in her basement so that she doesn't get out and kill people. And it's a very kind of excellent drama. I don't know how the longevity is on this show. I don't know if this is still going to be good past season 1, but for the season 1 that I'm watching, it's very, very charming, very enjoyable, has a great love story, great human life stories, but then also throws in a werewolf. So it's something to be seen.
Nice.
And also, as you can see in the trailer, if you're watching this, because I think this is actually a trailer for season 2, where she's getting ultrasounds and is potentially pregnant, which then begs the question. Yeah, begs the question. Is it going to be a werewolf too? A little werewolf baby? What's going to happen?
Oh.
So cool stuff. I'm very curious to see where it goes.
Brandon,
Mm-hmm.
do you know what other story also contains someone who is hiding in plain sight, which is also a love movie? Shrek.
I do not.
Okay, all this movie is Princess Fiona, and you just replace
But in
Shrek,
werewolf form.
and you replace Shrek with a werewolf, and boom, Josh Gad is Shrek,
Damn,
and
that's
Honestly,
pretty
Princess
deep,
Fiona.
Mike.
you got me, Mike. That's
Thank you,
that's a
guys.
solid off the cuff.
Brandon, does this movie have a donkey character, or the show rather?
Oddly enough, no, I'm
Oh
kidding.
my god!
No, it's a TV show, and it's the plain sight thing. I'll give you, Mike, but yeah, it manages to go more on like this show would stand alone if she wasn't a werewolf. Like it's just a really good people drama, but the werewolf definitely just makes it
Yeah,
that much better.
One more level.
it adds.
It also
it adds a nice
brings it to
layer.
my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. All right, man. Anything else to wrap it up, big guy?
I think that's it, man.
Okay.
Nothing else really of note. I already talked a lot about Brother Son, I think, on our last episode, which
Yes, you
is
did.
going to be my show of the year, realistically. But it got canceled for season 2, which is a travesty.
Shame.
Yeah, actually, it really is. That's I'm so fucking surprised. That show needs to come back for season 2. Oh, and Physical 100. If you haven't,
Oh
haven't caught up,
you know what? You're right. I caught the first 2 episodes of the new season.
yeah, there you go. For those that don't know, Physical 100, taking 100 of Korea's most physically fit athletes, from firefighters to special operators out of the military to bobsledding gold medalists, CrossFitters, whatever. They take
And there's
100 fit people.
one white guy and one black guy.
Yes, there
Just
is.
to keep things interesting.
Well, I think the white guy is actually half Korean. The
There's
Aussie rules
one.
football player, right?
There's that guy, but then there's just some random white dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
weird when they speak Korean, though.
I need to watch this stupid show. And in the other group chat, friends of the show, Nick and
So
Sean
good.
are just like Nico just goes off. It goes crazy about this show. So I think I'm gonna put it on as my treadmill show because I've actually never watched an episode of it.
It is super
Great
enjoyable.
treadmill show.
It makes you want to work out, especially the first challenge is on treadmills, Mike.
I need.
Yeah.
Do I need to watch the first season to watch the second season?
God, no.
No.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I
Like
know what
any other reality
I know what I'm
TV
putting
show.
on tomorrow.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, 100 people, all physically fit, going through extensive physical challenges that required speed, strength, and endurance, male and female, mixed class. You have wrestling matches, fighting matches, and they pair men versus women, men versus men, women versus women, whatever. It's no rules in that regard. So
The idea is to find just the best body, the best, the strongest person all around.
Yeah. And
So you'll have like sumo wrestlers against regular wrestlers, against cyclists, against
That's awesome.
Olympic rowers. Who is the fittest?
yeah. And it's a total thing. Like total fitness. So there'll be body weight exercises, wrestling matches, endurance. Fuck. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
I think my throat's
absolutely
tapping out.
wild show.
Yeah, man. It's really enjoyable. Just give it a whirl. And yeah, good times.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, everybody, I think that's it. I think that is episode 10. Our nice, quick, concise movie book and TV catch up. So I love it,
There
gentlemen.
you go.
And I love you both.
Ketchup
We'll
mustard.
definitely keep you guys posted on that. And to our audience listeners, as always, first off, thank you, our beautiful Guggernauts. We love you. We could not do any of this without you. So again, if you do enjoy the show, if you did laugh at all, please go ahead, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and more importantly, if you know someone who would also enjoy Growing Up Gaming, please go ahead, share it over to them, and let's grow this beautiful Guggernaut community. Besides that, as always, please go ahead. You can check us out on the socials, youtube.com/growingupgaming, as well as on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other good stuff there. Besides that, I think we're going to get we'll probably get one more episode in. Eric and I are going to be going to Mexico in the middle of the month. So we'll probably get a nice one more episode recorded and out ideally before we leave. So if we don't, Viva la Mexico,
Wow.
baby.
You're lost.
Yeah.
Seriously. So that's it from me. Eric, anything on your side before we wrap it up?
Nada, never. Brandon, take her away.
I think that was it. My physical 100 was my last slip in of the day. So I think, yeah, We're gonna land this plane. Everybody, thanks for
Slipper in,
stopping
baby.
by. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. If Mike and Eric make it back from Mexico.
Buddy, I ain't coming back, and it's not because I'm dead. All right. Good night, everybody.